Meeting Joe today was, yeah, it brought back a lot of memories from when I was young, trying to deal with it, trying to get support, wanting the support of my friends, but you know, not wanting to tell them or not wanting to know the truth for the fear of being hurt by them. It brings it all back, and you know, I want to be able to say to people that everything's going to be all right. But I knew when I was in Joe's position, if somebody had said that to me, it meant nothing at the time.
And the rise in homophobic attacks are very scary.
Mr Hick was attacked outside this nightclub, The Edge in St Mary's Road in Southampton, popular with gay men.
First, a homophobic killer is facing life behind bars after his attack on a gay couple left one man dead and the other fighting for his life.
A 24-year-old man has been killed on London's Clapham Common in an apparent homophobic attack.
Jody Dabrowski was a bar manager and had lived in London for over 4 years.
Police say they're searching for 2 men in their 20s in connection with the murder.
Jody's murder shocked the nation and fueled worldwide outrage. 5 years later, I wanted to know more about Jody's murder. Just what had motivated 2 men to take an innocent life away from a total stranger. His mum, Cherie, agreed to meet me and gave her first televised interview about that night.
He'd been to visit a friend that evening, and the next thing that I'm aware of is several people heard him screaming as he was being chased across Clapham Common, which is just sort of near Battersea, where he'd come from. And two men were chasing him and screaming just vile, homophobic obscenities. The usual, we don't want pufters around here, we're going to kill you, you queer. I don't like saying these words, to be honest.
Yeah, no, they're not. I understand what you mean, they're not.
I just have this, if it wasn't for 2 policemen who held Jody's hand, those would be the last words he heard.
Jody was so badly beaten his family didn't recognise his body and he had to be identified by his fingerprints. 2 men, Thomas Pickford and Scott Walker, were sentenced to a minimum of 28 years for his murder.
It was brutal, merciless, vile, and the build-up of language, the abusive language while they were doing it, and they weren't going to stop, and apparently, according to what we've heard, attacks on gay men in particular are generally more brutal and vile than ordinary attacks, if you like.
Hearing Jody's story was truly heartbreaking.
After meeting Cherie, I kind of felt that I'd been protected in my own little bubble of happiness, and Cherie's story is unfortunately a story of the real world, in the fact that gay men and gay women live in fear of attacks and ultimately live in fear of their lives.
Amazingly, it seems the economic state of our country could be contributing to a rise in gay bashing.
I think we're seeing a rise in hate crime in 2010 because people are angry and frustrated, and they don't know who to take their anger and frustration out against. We're living in very, very uncertain times. And how do you direct it against banks or MPs or multinationals? So instead of that, they find a minority group like homosexuals and they direct all their aggression towards them instead.